Hi there, my name is Ivana and I'm happy to introduce the Virtual Roll Call project. The other developers that worked on this project with me include Shalisha Witherspoon and Shonda Witherspoon. Jason Cohen was our product owner and he's from the Pinecrest Police Department. Masood Sajadi was our professor. Mozen Taheri was our project mentor. I'll start the presentation by introducing the problem. So the Pinecrest Police Department explained to us that the start of a police officer's shift is traditionally spent in the station's briefing room, where shift supervisors go over a clipboard of important documents and information. However, the problem was that officers are not always present for these roll call briefings, and for very credible reasons, such as having to work an overlapping shift, needing to appear in court, or having to go to work immediately due to high call volume. As a result, such absences prevent those officers from receiving important communications relevant to the commencement of their shift, essentially creating a communication discrepancy amongst the shift officers. To manage the project, we used Mingle, and then we also used Google Hangouts to communicate for our just general communication as well as our daily Scrum meetings. We used Google Docs to manage our timesheets, our meeting minutes, and then our feature documents as well. Requirements. Here's a list of the user stories that our team implemented in this release of the application. The first is the user login feature, which is a basic user authentication system that routes a user to their home page according to their role. The add user feature, which allowed admins to create and add new users to the site. Change password allowed users to change their own password as part of their profile settings. Edit user, which allowed admins to update their user information with the exception of their password. Remove user, which allowed admins to remove users from the system. Reset password is where supervisors would reset passwords when users were locked out of the system. Add category, which would allow admins to add new categories to the system. These are the categories that supervisors would eventually upload the documents into. Edit category, which would allow admins to edit the existing categories in the system. Remove category, which would allow admins to remove categories from the system. Customize site settings allows admins to customize the logo of the site, the name of the application, and the name of the police department. Upload document allows the supervisors to upload documents into the system. Add document records all of the information regarding the documents that supervisors have uploaded. List pinned and unpinned documents allows the officers to view the documents, the pinned and unpinned documents for each category on their dashboard. View categories allows officers to view all the categories that are in the system on their home page. And view document is allowing officers to view and download the documents that supervisors have uploaded to the site. Here's our use case diagram. We have an inheritance relationship amongst the three main users of the site. The admin should have all the capabilities that a supervisor has, and a supervisor should have all the capabilities that an officer has. We used an extends relationship to emphasize that an admin, for example, can either add a user, edit a user, and remove a user when managing users of the site. Sequence diagrams. I'll go over these rather quickly. If you'd like to take a closer look, just pause the video. I'll start with create user login, add user, change password, edit user, remove user, reset password, add category, edit category, remove category, upload document, add document, customize site settings, and in this case, this is the sequence diagram for uploading a logo, a new image. List pinned documents, list unpinned documents, view documents. This is the last sequence diagram for the user stories that we implemented. Next, we have the system decomposition. So we use the model view controller pattern and the client server model in our web app. As some of you might know, the MVC model view controller is an architectural pattern that's commonly used for designing web application. And as the name implies, there are three major components in its architecture. There's the model that manages the data of the application. The user interface of the application is the view, and then the controller receives user input and modifies the data in the model. Our system used the client-server model, which is an application structure used in distributed applications. The client makes requests to the server via the internet, and the server responds to the client with the requested function and files. Virtual roll call is hosted on a Linux Ubuntu virtual machine, and clients are able to use the application and perform actions through the server. System decomposition. Here's the system deployment diagram for the web app. The application will reside on a Linux server in the adopting police department. The officer would access the site via VPN on their department-issued laptops using the HTTP protocol. In order for the application to be deployed, the Linux server must also have an Apache web server, an instance of MySQL, and PHP. Here's the ER diagram for our site. We have four main tables that include the officers, settings, categories, and documents table. Security and privacy. In order for the officers to be able to access the web application, they'll need to make sure they access the department's private network first using VPN. Password encryption was not implemented in this release, but it is important and is one of the remaining user stories in the backlog. Here is a high-level representation of the major classes in our application. We have three main views comprised of several partials that are controlled by the listed controllers. Any function that accesses the database is encapsulated in the data service class, and then actual calls against the database reside on the server in the DB handler class. Here are some examples of two test cases. One is a sunny day unit test for the reset password user story, and the second is another unit test, but in this case it's a rainy day test case for the reset password user story. I'll finish the presentation by demoing the application to you. I'll start the demo by logging in as an administrator, jcohen001. So this is where the user would enter their username and password. This is the home page of the administrator. It defaults to the user management page where the administrator can add a new user, edit existing users in the site, and here is an example of editing a user. If I wanted to edit their first name, their last name, username, or their role, I would do that here. I would also delete users by clicking this button. And I'll show you an example actually of a delete user. So I'm going to delete Harry Potter. Confirm. The user was successfully deleted from the site. Document categories. This is where the administrator would add and modify existing categories in the application. So for example, if I wanted to add a new category, I would do that here. Existing categories can't be added, but you can add unique categories. Site settings. This is where you would go to change the site logo, the application name, and the department name as an administrator. Logo successfully updated. As you can see, the logo was updated with the new image that we had selected as an administrator. I'm going to log in as a supervisor now. This is the Manage Documents page where the supervisor would upload documents to the site. Here they would select a file, name it a new name, so it's different from the actual file name, category that they want to associate the document with. And as you can see, here's the document that we added in our previous demonstration. And whether or not this document should be pinned. Pinned documents appear in a prioritized area in the officer's view. Below you'll see a list of documents that have already been uploaded to the site. You can search for documents, for example, written directives. Let's see if there's another one that we can follow. We want to filter by, and you can search by any field in the table, so not necessarily the category. Reset password. This is where the supervisor would reset the password for those users that are locked out of the system. So as you can see, it tells you that you need to select a user to begin. So for example, if I wanted to reset my own password, I would select that here. And you can see that the other fields are disabled. This is in order to prevent the officer or the supervisor rather to accidentally update the password for the wrong person. So it's only the selected individual. Ivana, 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. As you can see, you must fill out both fields. We also have password requirements for each, so they must be a minimum of 8 characters, and only numbers and letters are allowed. I can close this off here. So that's the supervisor. I'll log out now and I will log in as an officer. As an officer, this is the default home page, and you have a list of all of the categories that are in the site. You can see the one I just created here. And then when you navigate to each of these, you'll have a section for pinned and unpinned documents. I don't have any documents uploaded to this category, but we can check some of the others. I think written directives has one. Written directives. So for each of the documents uploaded to the site, whether it be a PDF, an image, or a PowerPoint, you'll have them listed here in icon form. So just select the icon. It should download on your computer. And voila! That ends the virtual roll call presentation. Stay tuned for a few more videos on maintenance and installation instructions, as well as videos for each of the user roles and how they would access the system and all of the user stories associated with those roles. Thank you.